All right. TK, what's up, buddy?
How we
Tyler
doing, Cyrus?
Kopietz. He is the VP of Buildertrend. Welcome to Window Day Podcast.
Thanks, Cyrus. I'm happy to be here, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right. So we'll get right into it, man. I got a lot to catch up on with you, and I got a lot to learn from you here. So first and foremost, when did you get in with Buildertrend? How did that transition come? Why Buildertrend? And I want to learn about the success of Buildertrend, man. You guys have done some amazing things.
Yeah, so that's a loaded question of how I got there. It was almost 6 years ago. I took a really indirect way to get to BT. I was actually coming out of the medical field, had my master's in something unrelated to what I do now.
Yeah.
Was working in a cadaver lab at UNMC, teaching some students.
Nice.
Had some medical field opportunities, and I was burnt out of that field. I was tired of working for something that I didn't get to see the instant gratification for.
Got it.
And luckily for me, I had a couple good buddies who were in Buildertrend, and they said, come in and apply and see what happens. And it's been 6 years. I've never looked back, and it was honestly the best decision that I've made in my career. Changed my career, changed my life in an instant for me.
That's awesome. So 6 years ago, Buildertrend, you are the 91st employee?
Somewhere in the 90s. Yeah, there's, however you want to look at it. But there was roughly 90 employees when I started. And current state, we have 900.
900, so 10x in the last 6 years since you've joined.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to say about you, dude.
Oh, yeah, I'll take full credit.
That's awesome. So Buildertrend started in 2006. 2015 is when you started. So for the first 9 years, they only had 90 employees. Last 6 years, now you've added 800 employees, man. Like, how? Why? Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, our MO at that point was we have a unique market. We're serving a construction software. Okay. It was unique. It was untapped for the most part. There's a lot of competition out there, but when we hit the stock market crash in 08, 09, it weeded out a lot of the competition and also opened up Buildertrend's eyes to let's expand our expertise. We survived that stock market crash, and now it was time to let's hire the bodies and put some brute force behind it. We doubled down on our people and our culture to get us to where we are today. And so it was in that 2015 when we made a statement as a company of we're going to hire at least 100 employees every single year. And we were able to do that and then some, which is really exciting. A couple acquisitions recently, which added some of those bodies for us pretty quickly, which has been a phenomenal thing for the company all around.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really, really cool. So I've seen a lot of what's going on with Buildertrend. I've got a lot of friends. Culture is obviously incredible over there. We'll go to culture at one point because that's a pretty big topic for us. So I read something that said, executives and owners don't make a business. It's the people that make the business. It's the people that are working, that are grinding, that makes Buildertrend, right? So what are you guys doing to find these people? Because I haven't met one person that does not like working there.
Yeah. It's a lot of word of mouth, honestly. We push referrals. Our mindset is we're going to hire a 10 and we're going to keep those 10s. And we love what you do. And so anybody who is like-minded like you, we want them in here. Let's talk to them. Let's tell us about what we do. And it's worked well for us. But you're exactly right. It's the owners, the executives. They're not running the business. They're not making it successful. It's a collective unit, which is
correct.
How we speak is we all work together. We work alongside one another. Nobody works for anybody. We work together at all times.
No, that's awesome, man. Because the owners and the executives obviously have big ideas that they work on. But sometimes when you don't have that infrastructure and the people to run with it and take it to the next level, we see it here, man. Like, I'm not the reason we're successful. I mean, we got people around us over here that take care of our clients and give them the customer service they deserve because we're in the customer service business. We just sell insurance. We just got to take care of people. Yeah. So culture. Let's go right to it, man. Because there's been a lot of talks about people want to work from home. There's been a lot of talks about people want to come in. So I know COVID and all that's put some dent into this. So into the culture, because I know you guys are all about being together and doing all these things, right? So what is the culture like, man? What created it? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I love the culture question because I think people can get misconstrued on how you define culture within a business. And if people look at Buildertrend or LinkedIn, some of these other companies where you have pool tables, you have ping pong tables, putting greens, there's drinks on tap. That's not the culture. In all honesty, that's a bit of a facade to get people into the door and say, this looks fun. Our people is what makes up the culture. And it's the teammate, and it's a Buildertrend family. That's how it's introduced. And it's a family organization. We've kept that throughout all of it. Nice. And that's what makes us strong. And it's, to touch on your point with the COVID and the work from home, that opened our eyes in so many ways as an organization, because prior to March of 2020, there was no working from home. There was no hybrid state. It was you're in the office Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we work hard together. We have fun together, but we had such a great people aspect and a process to our company that we kicked everybody out of the office within 3 days and said, let's go and set every record possible. And we were able to. And it had nothing to do with the new environment. It had everything to do with the people that were boots on the ground and winning together and wanted to support one another.
That's awesome, man. So you set some records in 2020.
Yeah, we did. We set about every record possible on our sales side, our customer success side. Had some acquisitions in the works. We did a lot of really intense, successful things while working in an unprecedented time that was, you have a global pandemic going on where nobody really knew what to do, what to say, when things were going to go back to normal. But when we sent everybody home, we literally said, I don't know when you're going to come back. And so people weren't taking everything. They were leaving chairs. They were leaving their stand-up desks. And it was, well, you know what the expectation is. And the expectations we preach on constantly. And so everybody knows what they're fighting for every single day, week, month, quarter, year. And if expectations are being met or going above and beyond, they're rewarded and it's celebrated. If expectations are not being met for any reason, they're discussed and they're challenged and they're coached. And so everybody knows and is aware of what we need to do and how we're going to get there as a team.
Oh, interesting, man. So I'm curious what your message was as an executive of a company. Like, what was your message? Like, COVID hit, everybody's freaking out, right? How many people work under you now?
Total on our sales side, there's about 200.
So 200 people under you. What was your message to your team? Because they're all looking to you saying, dude, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, what was that message like, man? And how did that feel? Like, what?
Yeah. How did it feel? It was scary.
Yeah.
It was... When that hit was when I actually got promoted to vice president. My now boss, chief revenue officer, he said, hey, congratulations. Here's the key to the sales team. I'm out of town the rest of the week. We got to send everybody home due to COVID. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Let's do it. But the message was honestly, it was honest and it was full transparent of, I don't know the answer. I don't know what's actually happening. I'm not going to act like I do. But what I do know is we all need to go and work from home. And I also know that we still have a business that is up and running. And people need a communication platform, which is exactly what Buildertrend is. And so when you look at it, it opened our eyes in how we can work together, but also help the market a little bit of you couldn't meet face to face. And so my message was, let's go home and make sure that we meet our exact same expectations, because luckily for us, everything we do is over the phone and via screen share. So there wasn't any face-to-face meetings we had to schedule off. And so there really was no impact to how we operate. It was just, where are you operating from? Where are you making your phone calls and training and selling? You weren't in our office. You were now at home doing it.
Correct.
And it was everybody, not only in Buildertrend, but the world is dealing with it. And so you had an instant connection with everybody, which means you could talk to anybody and say, like, hey, like, I don't know what's going on, or this kind of sucks. Can you help me? What are you doing to get through these times?
Right. So did you have a meeting? Was it just an email that went out? Like, was it a Zoom meeting with everybody and the decision is coming, or what was that like?
It was all the above. We were very over communication style of a company. And so first and foremost, it started with the top, worked its way down. The morning we had to send everybody home, we met as a leadership team. We brought in all the managers and said, here's what's going on. It's mandated. We got to go home. Let's go back to your teams and let's talk to everybody who's in the office, explain as best as we can, and followed up with an all-company email explaining, here's what we do. And it was in sprints for the most part. It was, for this month, we're still at home.
Right.
For now, next month, we're still at home. We finally got to a spot where it was on quarter sprints, and then it was a decision of nothing's going to happen until the end of the year. And now we're in this, it's an optional, it's a hybrid state.
That's
the reality of the company.
I think a lot of companies are going to that. So I'm really curious as to what that has done to the culture of, you said it's people, right? Yeah. But I feel like when you have people together, it's a lot better, in my opinion, right? Than when people are all working from their home.
Sure.
How has that affected the company? Of maybe there used to be 100 people in this event, now there's only like 30. Mm-hmm. Has that affected the company at all, or?
Not as much as you think, honestly. Okay. And I relate that back to all our people managers that we have. Yeah. They're world-class people managers. And going back to us establishing a good process early on in the creation of Buildertrend, we were already doing at least 2 individual check-ins with each employee we have every single month. We were already doing weekly team meetings. So we had the way to connect the people. The only difference now is some are in the office, some are at home. We use Zoom to share everybody in the same room, discuss things, follow up with PowerPoints. And we've gotten a lot better at our team outings or group settings. Right. Obviously, it's optional. If you feel comfortable, you can attend. Right. We typically see a pretty good turnout. And so not as much as you think has that affected it because of, and I give all the credit in the world to our people managers and the people in general at Buildertrend of it's a family and we're teammates together and we do everything to make sure we're in a good spot.
That's awesome, man. I guess in your business, it's you got to make certain calls and you got to talk to this many people, construction workers, right? People that are in that business. So whether you make it from the office or whether you make it from your home or doesn't really matter. Yeah. I mean, you got to make those calls. And you do have good measures in place, right? To make sure that people are doing what they're saying they're doing, right? Has a lot of people had any pushback on that or team members, for example, saying, hey, if I'm producing, like, you don't got to tell me, because that's how I am here. I'm that kind of a person. I'm like, dude, listen, for some people, it might take 50 calls. Yeah. But to some people, it only make 10 because they're really good closers. Building a connection is a huge part of sales with the other person on the other side that you don't even know who they are, right? Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of people do it differently. So how does that look like on your side? How are you guys managing that?
Yeah, so we set our bottom line expectation. So for instance, our cold callers, the BDRs, business development representatives, their expectation is 150 calls a day. Okay. No matter if you're at goal, not at goal, if you have a better skill set, it's 150 dials. And so, and that's the same at every level we have, SDRs, BDS, RSM. Okay, got it. It doesn't just play into, are you hitting your individual goal or not? Because the way we structure our environment is there's individual goals and there's team goals. And the team doesn't hit their goal unless every individual hits theirs. And there's always something that you're shooting for. And so we have some non-negotiables as far as our metrics go. And it's really on the effort side. And that's what I'm going back to with how many dials are you making? How many meetings are you doing? Depending on your role, you have that baseline. And regardless of what your outcome looks like, you're still held to those same expectations.
So what you're saying is, for example, here, our minimum expectation, just putting in numbers, 25 calls, let's just say, right? And there's 10 team members. Yeah. You're saying team goal is 250 calls, 25 calls times 10. If somebody is hitting their numbers just with 10 calls, you still got to make that extra 15 calls to hit the team calls.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying? Yeah. So 150, I don't care if you blew it out of the water, you did 3 times more production or 3 times more accounts, it doesn't matter. You're still got to be a team player.
Exactly. And it's funny how it turns out in our environment, and you can see the same with yours. It's the more that you put into it, the more calls you make, it's the more opportunities you have in your 100%. Pipeline. It may not be there that day. Right away, I may make 150 calls a day and not set a single meeting or get a single deal. Right. But that next day, I may make the same amount of phone calls and have 10 meetings where if somebody is falling short of those, over time, their pipeline is going to diminish and it's going to deplete on them. And so then you're just kind of stuck in this where that effort is the big piece. That is the non-negotiable. You will put forth the effort. And it's not just to say, I want you to make 150 calls. I want you to do this. It's better for you as a person and a professional in our environment, and you will win more.
Correct.
And you'll see it.
Correct. I mean, it's just the more you're at bat,
exactly,
the better opportunities you have of hitting singles, home runs, doubles, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, so that's I lean towards more here, more on premium versus the calling or touching. We call them touches, right? So it could be a touch to a referral partner, which is a mortgage lender, real estate agent, somebody like that, or you can just strictly call the client and get quotes from. So I like that. I like the whole team thing to where it doesn't matter, man. You still got to be a team player and being able to do that, man. That's pretty exciting to get that many people to make 150 calls consistently, man. That's a lot of credit to the leadership team that you guys have over there to get them to be driven to be able to do that. Because not everybody wakes up and says, let's make 150 calls, right? I mean, it's hard sometimes.
It's hard all the time. It's not pretty. It's hard. It's difficult. And especially calling our market, it's a late adopting market. Correct. It's tough. But when you have management that's speaking the same language, when you have expectations that are constantly being reiterated and followed through on, as well as competition. Right. We send out numbers and KPIs in real time throughout the day.
KPIs, explain that to me.
Yeah, your key performance indicators.
Perfect.
So we're looking at call counts, meetings set, meetings completed, solds.
And everybody's ranked.
Yeah, we have a real live scoreboard.
Yep.
Inside of Salesforce, which we operate out of. And so
got it.
And that's
and everybody sees it all the time.
Everybody can see it. And that's not to make people feel bad or to call anybody out. It's a fact of life that you should be self-aware of where you're at. And so it drives some motivation. If you're at the bottom, don't be at the bottom. And you know what it takes to get there. Make more calls, set more meetings, ask somebody who's at the top,
right?
How are you there? And what are you doing different than I am?
Have you seen people that are up the top are usually people that basically maybe have been there long enough to, or is it more of a no?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Honestly, you will get a good mix of people at the top. And we have really good success based on a lot of our new hires coming from referrals is they understand the company and they understand our expectations. Correct. And so we have people, it seems like every new hire class, which is every month, one of them will win the month or win a week or instantly start competing. And what that does is that challenges those more tenured reps who may be a little bit stuck or I have my routine. I know what I can do to just win. But if you want to be the best, somebody always has to be coming in to push you.
Yeah, for sure. What happens to the bottom though? Like I'm curious about that. So do some people get encouraged? Maybe they've been in the bottom for 3 months and they're like, maybe this is just not for me. Like, what are you guys doing to coach those? Sure. Because I feel like some people just go through slumps.
Yeah.
But they're great, dude. And like you give them some coaching, you tell them some more things, some different techniques, and then next thing you know, they're on the top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's constantly being coached.
Yeah,
and typically what we see is those that are falling at the bottom, it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with skill set or the script or tone of voice.
Effort.
It has everything to do with effort. Everything.
Okay.
That's it. And so like I said, we have at least 2 individual check-ins, at least 2 a month. And one of those is coming from a regional sales manager. One of those is coming from a training coordinator, as well as weekly team meetings. And so everybody's always being encouraged and coached and pushed. But the reality is not everybody's cut out for every single job. 100%. And that's okay.
100%.
But what we find is it typically lends to there's a lack of effort or the intent behind it as opposed to the skill set.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, man. I love that kind of stuff. You know, it's almost like, hey, you come in this like circle and there's like 100 people there and they're all kind of one objective, right? Yeah. And when somebody gets a sale, it's all exciting and everybody's excited for them, right? It's kind of the atmosphere, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys have, man.
Yeah, we've got a bell. We've got a bell that
anytime.
Well, not every time. There'd be a lot of bell ringing going on. It's the first demo every rep sets. Ring the bell. The first sale, you ring the bell. Everybody stands up, claps. It's loud. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But that's been with us for essentially every office we've had. That is the thing. I missed that so much when we were at home. Was having new hires come in and how do you celebrate that win? Because you can only do so much. You celebrate it so much. Where that bell was a big deal. So as soon as we got back, we were making those who were hired at home come and ring the bell. It was a lot of fun.
So I'm curious about that. So now you got a lot of people working from wherever, right? So you're not. Does that change that culture of ring the bell? Everybody's excited. Everybody's clapping. Like, does that put a dent on your culture?
No.
Okay.
No, because we still have a good turnout in the office. We still have people who want to be there. Those that are there, like, the energy is top notch. It's fantastic. Right. Our teams do a really good job communicating of,
got it.
It's optional. 100% is optional. I'm going to be in this day. Let's see if we can get you in this day. There are things that, end of the week, end of the month, you will naturally see people come in. You want that team side. You want to feel that person next to you having success to push you.
For sure.
It's just a natural way of life.
For sure. That's pretty awesome, man. Because we have 4 or 5 locations around Omaha. Yeah. And honestly, like 95% of the time they're all here.
Yeah,
is because we got that table and everybody's kind of around it, and we're kind of doing the same thing at a very small scale, but they enjoy being here, celebrating success. We've got a live scoreboard just like you. Yeah, tells everybody where they're at for the day, and we're every 4-hour kind of company where every 4 hours we celebrate success and talk about what the numbers look like, instead of waiting even a whole day, because I feel like even a whole day sometimes is too much to wait to get somebody their reports. And you got a live scoreboard, so like you see it all the time.
Oh yeah. And that's good for the celebrating success, but they also, if it's not successful at that time, and it's always going back to, you set that high target goal. Yeah. What is the goal, and how do we backtrack into getting that? How do you chip away at that to make sure each individual knows exactly what they need to do to play their part in order for everybody to win?
That's awesome, man. So let's talk about your leadership skills, man. What are some things that you could maybe tell our audience, people that are listening, that you have learned in the last 6 years that you implement? Taking care of 200 people is not easy, right?
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do every day that makes you different, that makes you accountable, that makes you more attractive to these people to be able to do what you want them to do?
Yeah.
And succeed at a very high level, which Buildertrend, hey, you guys succeed. Yeah. You guys are winning.
Yeah, we're winning. We're not done yet. We'll continue to win. And I think the big piece for me as a leadership side is, you don't know everything.
Right.
You will never know everything. And so don't pretend that you do.
Yeah.
And open your ears and open your eyes to your extensions. I'm a huge believer in the word extensions within your people.
Sure.
It doesn't always have to be a title that comes with it. My motto is, I'll never give anybody a title that they're not doing already in their current position. It should be, you're doing these things. Now here's a title that makes sense with it. Not, I'm going to give you a title. Now I need you to be completely different. And so it's a constant challenge to see who's going to step out of their current zone or job description by using the extensions. And for me, it's being visible. I think being visible as a leader, as a manager, to whatever that means, whether it's remote, hybrid, in office, there has to be a piece of visibility that people know that you are there and you are in the trenches with them.
Okay.
And
what are you doing to make them feel like you are in it? What are some things? Maybe you are in the office, you go talk to them, you are in meetings, emails. Like, what are you doing to make yourself visible?
All the above. I'm in the office every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Unless we're out playing golf, we'll see. No, I'm in the office every day. I have this might give it away, but I have a reoccurring calendar invite for every morning that says chat somebody or walk around the office. So it's
anybody. There is
anybody. The way we have our office set up, the sales floor is all together on our upper tier. And so I start and I walk around, I'll give fist bumps, I'll sit down. If I'm seeing one of our managers who are actually doing a one-on-one check-in, I'll kind of sneak in there and sit down and say, well, what are you guys talking about? What's going on? How can I help? What do you need from me? It's a constant over communication. And it's not micromanaging the scoreboard, but it's checking the scoreboard so that I can give credit or coaching feedback on top of a management, a training coordinator, just to let them know I'm here and I see you and I'm here for you in any way that you need me to. So being visible, communicating, and understanding and telling people that you get it, which is a unique thing about Buildertrend is everything that we do as we've scaled and grown is we promote from within. And so everybody in our organization has started from the bottom and worked their way up. And that's a huge piece to success for us because it means not just I understand how to talk to somebody, how to sell it, what the process is, but I understand the mindset that you're going through.
Yeah.
When you make 150 calls and you don't get a meeting set, I've been there. I get it. It's hard. And I know how to get you out of that. And so it's a mental connection and a personal connection as opposed to more of that skill set.
For sure. Do you still get in the trenches and just once in a while say, let me take over this call?
Not taking over the call. I do a lot of, if we have any type of enterprise sale, if somebody, I got a big franchise, I'll hop in there. And that comes back to the visibility piece and the piece of, I'm still here. I'm still selling. I'm trying to get you a deal just like you're trying to get me 100%. A deal. And so being available for everything. We don't have any closed offices for the most part. Any closed doors we have, it's a full window. There's no hiding what's going on. And so
doesn't matter if you're an executive, manager, owner, like it's open. You come, it's an open door policy.
Yeah. Open door policy to the fullest extent that can be. We're all of upper leadership, executive team, the 3 co-founders, CEO, everybody sits right in the middle of the floor. And we say, we're here. If you need anything, come to me. I'm not hiding behind anything, and I'm always available.
So I'm curious. You got 200 people, and if 5% of them every day have questions to you, that's your whole day. How do you structure that?
It's time management.
Okay.
It's time management. It's setting boundaries too.
Okay.
It's setting boundaries. If somebody comes and they'll sit down on my desk, and if this is something that is going to take a longer conversation, then we'll schedule a time. Hey, I know it's going to be a 20-minute conversation. I don't have 20 minutes current state.
Got it.
Give me the rundown, and let's sync up tomorrow. Let's make sure that we get this talked in as quickly as time as possible. But makes sense. It can take a lot of time, but that's why we do what we do.
Correct.
We are a people-first organization, and so the people will always come first as far as what we're operating, because if our people are not in a good spot, then really the product doesn't mean anything, because you don't have a business and you don't have success without people who are fighting for the same thing that you are.
No, that's pretty awesome, man, that you guys are always available. I mean, your organization is just going to be more successful every year because you're a people organization versus, I feel like a lot of companies after a while, and that's just how it goes. The bigger you get, you just deal with bigger problems, and you don't have those even 10 minutes to hang out with the guy that just started. And I feel like to give people opportunities to come talk to the VP of a company, I truly feel like it's a pretty, and same thing here, man. You got 17 people that work here, and our organization, about 42 people altogether all over the country, but 17 of them directly here that reports to me. And even 17 people, sometimes I'm like, man, like you've asked 4 questions today. Like, we can't be happy. This can't be happening. So setting those boundaries, like you said, right? Having, hey, does this really need to go through me?
Yeah.
You know, if it's just like a chit chat and, hey, how's golf yesterday? You golf with these people, or hey, if you're friends with them or something, that's a different story, right? But that can't be happening. And I feel like a lot of companies have closed down those and saying, oh, like you can only talk to this person if you take an appointment, go to talk to my secretary. That I don't believe in that.
No, you lose the people concept.
100%.
But to your point, like it's using your extensions wisely as well. You know, we have people in certain areas of expertise for a reason.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean that you can only talk to that person. That is just a person that should be the go-to. But if they're unavailable, or you need to just talk to somebody else because you have a different type of connection, you want to get a different point of view, by all means, that is exactly what we are here for.
So what does Buildertrend look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What are the plans? What are we taking? What's going on?
Yeah, it's world domination.
Yeah,
it's a
industry domination, which you guys are doing for sure.
Exactly. Our goal is Buildertrend as a software becomes an essential piece of every contractor's tool belt.
Okay.
When they get up, they put on their tool belt. I got a hammer. I get in my truck. I got my ladder, and I have Buildertrend as a software. You don't own a construction business or a contracting business without Buildertrend being in your tool belt. And so that's our goal.
Because Buildertrend makes your life easier.
Yeah. I mean, Buildertrend is not just a scheduling tool or you're sharing photos. Buildertrend is a platform to operate your construction business. It is doing everything that these business owners are doing day to day in some way, shape, or form, whether it's via email, it's Excel, it's just simple phone calls, spreadsheets, whatever it is. You're doing it because you're running a business.
Right.
And so Buildertrend takes every aspect of that business. It simplifies it first and foremost, and then it centralizes it for you. And it allows you and every user that you need to be involved to have access from anywhere. It's a fully cloud-based system. And so
it's huge.
That is it. When you own a construction business, Buildertrend comes along with that.
Yeah. Which is huge.
Yeah.
Construction business is not going anywhere.
No.
Let's talk about family, man, because I know that's a big deal for you guys, for you specifically, right? So how are you with the time that you're spending over at work and all the stuff, 200 people, then you got to come home. How are you keeping your time accountable to both of them to make sure both of them get the attention they deserve?
Yeah. It's back to the word we used earlier, boundaries.
Yeah.
You have to set boundaries. When I'm at work, I'm at work.
Yeah.
And it's Buildertrend. Obviously my phone's there if my wife needs me.
Right.
When Vega gets older, when my kids need me.
Yep.
But it's work and that's what my focus is.
Yeah.
When I get home, it's hard and it's difficult to shut off that work side, but that's family time. We have dinner, we play, we go to bed. It's setting the boundaries and understanding where that time needs to be spent and really what's important in life. And my family is always going to take that top priority.
Right.
But it's kind of that chicken and the egg of I need a job to some sort to support the family. I need a family to have the job to make me support it.
For sure.
So they go hand in hand. But you can't lose sight of the family.
Yeah, no, man, that's so important. So is your phone, do you have like phones off from 5 to 7 and then it comes back on to check stuff? Like what's that look like from 5 o'clock when you get home to, let's say, 10 when you go to bed?
Yeah, that's about it. It's always on silent. It's on, there's no vibration to it. It's silent, it's off. I do my best. I'm not perfect with it, but I'll do my best of let's not check emails. My thing is as soon as my daughter goes to bed, when it's relaxing, let's get on one more time, make sure there's no fires that need to be handled. But the reality is, I don't think there's really any fire that can't wait until 8 a.m. the next day.
For sure.
To get
unless it's your boss calling you or, you know, like the owner of the company's calling you.
Yeah, right. But those are rare, far few between. And so you're able to do that. But that's just the time. And you need that time, whether it's family oriented or not. You need a separation and a balance, which is, I think personally, that's one of the hardest parts about what we went through with COVID and everybody working from home was everybody was working from your home.
Yep.
You know, you weren't leaving. And so how did you set those boundaries and how were you able to mentally stay tough? And so as an organization, we would send out a random chat or email or just push people like, hey, everybody take the next 30 minutes and go walk outside.
Right.
Like, please turn everything off. Don't make another phone call. Don't send an email. I need you to leave your desk because it's going to be much better for you as a person and your mental health to set that separation.
Yeah. All right. So daughter, man, Vea, she's beautiful. I've met her many times. My daughter met my whole family are really close. What's the biggest lesson she's taught you in her young life?
Oh, man. I'd say there's two. She's taught me so many lessons in her short 3 years here, but two, and I'd say number one is learning is always happening. Whether you can see that on the surface or not, it's always happening. Yeah. And I think that's really hit home with me because you should always be learning.
Correct.
No matter how old you are, what level you're at, what job you have, you should always be learning. And it's just incredible. Like every day something happens. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how did you know that? Or who taught you that? And a lot of times like, I just do. I just know. I'm 3 now, Dad.
She's always watching you.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah. You're always learning, observing.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'd say the second big lesson is the little wins in life. Like, again, as you get older, as you work your way up the ranks, you start to focus on these. It has to be this big picture. I'm judged on my job title or how much money you make, what your house looks like, all these things that really are pretty stupid and don't have any meaning in life. Where when I look at Vea, it's, I just caught the ball for the first time, or look how fast I can run. Look at this word I just used, and that is just making her world.
She's the happiest person in the world after that win.
And it's the little wins because you can get really caught up
Yeah.
in these big picture wins or losses, and it can eat you alive. Where if you take a step back and just focus on, you can win in these little ways that mean more than you ever thought of if you just pay attention
100%.
to them.
And we win all the time. I feel like we win all the time, me, you, on a daily basis. And anymore, we're just like, it's got to be bigger for us to celebrate. Man, celebrate, man. And I think you guys at Buildertrend do a good job of that. You know, celebrating little stuff all the time, because, and to celebrate 900 people is almost like a full-time job for somebody to just keep track of. But you got to do that, man. You got to get people to celebrate.
And I'll tell you what, a big piece that we celebrate too is progress. It's not the end goal. You know, a big message we preach and I try to preach constantly is I will never ask you to be perfect, because that's an unattainable goal. You will not be perfect, but I will expect you to make progress. And that can just be setting one more meeting than you did before, making 10 more phone calls than you did before.
It's progress.
And so it's also a personal goal of mine, and something I tell every new hire class when we meet on their day one is never stop learning with that. And you should never leave Buildertrend's office or log off for the day without doing something that you haven't done before or learning something that you didn't know before.
That's awesome.
Because if you don't do that, then you'll get burnt out. You'll be content. You'll stop growing as a person. Like,
for sure,
the professional side puts that aside. It's just as a person.
For sure.
Learn. Yeah,
because not everybody's going to be a Buildertrend for 10, 15, 30 years. And you were basically creating them into better people from the moment they came to to Buildertrend. So when they leave, even though they're going somewhere else, you're like, hey, man, when we got them, they were at a 5. Now they're at an 8 when it comes to professionalism or cold calling or whatever that is, you know, being acclimated. I tell these guys, man, there's not a lot of people that have left our office from the levels that they came in. They've always accelerated and got into the next level, and they have their own agencies now, or their own businesses and all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not mad. No, I did my job. That means I did my job.
Yeah, and that's a testament to you, and that's awesome to hear. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely,
if you're a leader or a people manager, the people come first, whether they're with you or not. You should strive for that success inside your office walls and outside your office walls.
For sure. All right, mentorship, right? So I'm assuming you have some mentors in your life that you reach out to, some people that have had a lot of success, and obviously you being where you're at the position that you're in, I don't think you'd be at this position if you didn't have some mentors guide you through the way, right? So who are a couple of mentors? What do you recommend for people that don't have mentors to look to, or what are some things you're doing to make yourself better every day that maybe you don't have a couple mentors anymore, but things you're doing every day to become better? What are you doing, and who are your mentors?
Yeah. So you're one of those, Cyrus, and that's
appreciate
not
that, man.
Brownie points. But no, I've seen your growth, and obviously we've been good friends for a long time. So that's been a driving factor.
I paid you to say that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you pay me later, but you've been a big piece of that, and I'd say 2 really in my life. 1, current state in my home life, and then 1, I'll talk in the Buildertrend office. And so in the home life, it's my wife.
Absolutely.
Not just for brownie
points.
What's
she taught you, man? No, seriously. What's the biggest lesson she's taught you?
She has challenged me in a way that nobody has ever before. And
sometimes you hate that, sometimes you love that, but it's
most
all
of the times
good.
I hate it at the current time.
But that's why you hate it, because it's good for you.
It's the right thing. But in all seriousness, I wouldn't be where I was today without my wife. I was down a medical field path. I was going to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And the biggest piece of my life was telling my wife, hey, I just put you through being with me through all this schooling.
Right.
I have opportunities. We're going to do this. It was set to saying like, hey, I'm going to go cold call for Buildertrend right now.
Yep.
And, she said, okay, if that's what you want to do. That was a huge risk for us as a family.
Correct.
And
she
supported that.
Yeah.
And she'll tell me now, hey, I don't know if I fully supported back then, but it worked out. And all I needed was that little bit of support.
Absolutely.
But then back to the challenging piece, she's always challenging to get better as a parent professionally. Right. We share ideas all the time. She's in a grueling job with her being in human resources for skilled nursing facilities, overseeing skilled nursing facilities.
It's tough. Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult. And so we lean on each other and we talk about that, but she's a big impact and influence on my life as a personal connection, a professional connection.
That's awesome.
That's huge for me.
That's awesome.
Now, inside of Buildertrend, it'd be really my current boss now, Josh Kaiser. He's our chief revenue officer. And
I've met him.
Yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Best golfer I've ever seen in my life. It kind of sucks playing with him, but that's all right.
That's why I don't play with him.
That's right. No, but as a person and as a professional, I really didn't have a mentor inside my work until I got to Buildertrend. I didn't have anybody who actually cared about my growth and taught me what to do or what I could do better until I got hired on. And Josh hired me. I actually had to apply twice, and he hired me the second time. I never let that down. But I'll never forget, I talked to him right out of the gate, and I was like, dude, like, I've never done this before. Right. I don't know construction. I don't know phone calls. And it's like, hey, just we'll give you the resources. All I need from you is you give me max effort. I said, okay, well, I'll do that. I'll give you the max effort. And throughout that, the learning hasn't stopped. He's always been there. He's taught me the strategic side of the business, which I had zero insight to. And so, and we've kind of moved up the ranks together. It's been fun. You know, I took his vice president spot when he moved up. And so it's been a cool transition of that's what I want to be like. And I told him that actually before I got promoted to VP, because he would ask me quite frequently of, where do you see the organization going? What are spots you need? What do you want to do? Right. And early on, I was honest with him, and I said, I don't really know. I'm not sure yet. I just want to keep growing. And then I got to a point where I said, I want your job. Yeah. I want to do what you do. Awesome. And it's been fun. And so top two for me, definitely my wife. Absolutely. And Josh Kaiser. Too.
That's awesome, man. You got to have those. And what are you doing on a daily basis, man? What are you doing to improve yourself on top of that every day? I know you read a lot of books. We talk about that podcast that we listen to. What else? Anything else that you're doing? Or those are some things that...
Really, for me, it's trying to stay active and learn as many ways as possible. And so I try to take a lunch break to go get any type of workout in. Yeah. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, anything to keep my mind away from work and get that. And then having some time to yourself, which for me, it's typically the car ride. It's a car ride going to pick up my daughter or drop her off at school. And that's when you'll pop on a podcast. I like to do some reading before bed, just anything to still stimulate my mind, my body, but it's separated from the work grind of it. But you're still getting it, which is why I don't like to read just books to read books. I like to read business books or leadership books because it still is, it's relating and impacting my career, and it's enjoyable.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, Buildertrend's lucky to have you, man, because you're making some big impact over there, and it's been really cool to see Buildertrend grow. It's been really good to see you grow and your family grow, and now you guys are going to obviously grow in the family side. So it's gonna be fun, man. So I would say the last question I want to ask you, man, is going to be on winning the day part, right? So our podcast is called Win the Day. I want to talk about non-negotiables every day that you have, and then what do you do every day to win your day?
Yeah. I'll start with the non-negotiables for me. And we touched on it a little bit earlier, but there's four for me. And I'll relate this inside of the work. And it's the effort. You have to give max effort no matter what. Attitude, positive attitude. Yeah. And then I can't curse on here, so it's starts with an S, ends with a T, or you can flip that word out with intent. Yeah. And then my fourth one is coachability, and those are the four non-negotiables for me because those are things that I can't control for people inside of Buildertrend for my family. Yeah. Each individual has that conscious decision to make. When you wake up every morning, you have the choice of who you want to be that day, what are some goals you have, and how are you going to obtain it.
Interesting.
And so I don't really have a lot of tolerance for going away from those. Yeah. Because that is how you make yourself successful as a person, and then in your career, you have to have those. And
you can take those four, Tyler, on the home side. Exactly. I guarantee you can take those four on when you wake up and it's a Saturday and you're not going to work. You follow those four principles, you're gonna have a pretty damn good day with your family or whatever that you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, they relate to the office and the home life, which is why those are so important to me. And that's something that we preach that, to bring that home.
That's awesome.
You too. Don't just leave it here, but expand your life. Yeah. And then for me, winning the day, it's always about doing something I haven't done before. So for me today, I'm winning today for myself because I'm on a podcast. I've never been on a podcast before. So I appreciate you for letting me win that day. But
that's good.
Yeah, I mean it's doing something different.
What did you do yesterday to win your day? Different.
I'll beat you in a golf game.
My man. Appreciate you. Thanks for being on TK, man. That was
Thanks,
fun.
Cyrus.
All right, brother.